so let's get out in the TTS and see how she is after all that work we've done. The red one's looking a little bit sorry for itself at the moment and does need a good clean. But I've just moved all the cars around, so hopefully she's gonna have no issues and be absolutely mint. Let's get going. Nice to actually see what this car's about, because I've literally driven it down one road since I bought it. So let's get out on the road. It's driving quite smooth actually, and the tracking ain't even that far out from doing those ball joints. Gear change is lovely and smooth, so it's definitely well worth doing that DSG service. But I don't even really know if the gearbox wasn't that smooth before, because it seemed to right on the one road that I went down. But at least we know it's done. The Haldex, no 4x4 warning light saying nothing's not working. So far, it's doing all right. It drives quite nice. I think I will get this tracking done, but it's not a million miles out. I've driven probably about 30 miles now-ish, roundabout, and our temperature gauge is not getting to 90. It seems to have hovered around about, I'd say, 80-ish. It should have definitely have warmed up by now. It should have warmed up within the first mile, really. So I think it's going to need a thermostat, which I remember when I've done the one on my red TC, it's not a very nice job to do, but I think we're going to have to do that. But apart from that, everything else seems spot on. Right, there's no warning lights, no nothing. It's actually going really well. So it looks like we've got an issue with the thermostat sticking open and only hitting 80 degrees whilst driving. And obviously sitting still now, it's hit 90, but it will go back down. So we need to definitely swap that out. So let's get back, order one of those up and get it fitted and hit the road again. So boom, one new thermostat. Only 2 bolts and 3 hoses, but its location is an absolute nightmare. It's under the inlet manifold, so it's not the easiest job in the world, but we need to do it, so let's just crack on. Right in there. So let's start by disconnecting the battery, because we will be removing the alternator and we don't want to be getting a shock. Then remove the engine cover and move the charcoal canisters, just trying to get as much access as possible. Now let's remove the alternator belt and this hose so we can move the canister out of the way a bit further. Then undo the 3 bolts holding on the tensioner for the belt, so that needs to come out of the way. So with that removed, we can now see the 2 13 mils that we need to remove next, which are holding the alternator in. Now let's make a bit more space by starting to move some of these hoses out of the way, because we need as much access as possible to be able to get this alternator out. So anything that I feel like is in the way, I'm just literally removing it. So with the alternator slightly pulled out of the way, I can now see the plug that I need to disconnect, and there's also another cable going to a 30mm, which we will need to undo, and boom, the alternator is out. So with the alternator removed, we can now see the thermostat, which is held on by two 10mm bolts, and this torque needs to get undone so we can remove that pipe.
So I've got this pipe loose, so hopefully it will give me enough to pull that out and all that stuff fall off, and that one undone.
I also removed this pipe which was connected to the thermostat, and there's another multi-spline there which was holding this pipe down. With all the hoses disconnected and the two 10mm bolts off, it's time to remove the thermostat.
This is a horrible job to do. I don't think it was this bad when I done it on the red one a few years ago, but it just seems to be an absolute nightmare. Maybe it's the mileage, everything's just a little bit more stuck in there. But we're out, so let's get the new one in. Old one, new one. Hopefully it ain't gonna be so bad putting this back in. We're getting there. I think before we go too far, let's put a bit of coolant in there and just see if we've got any obvious leaks. Hopefully we'll be alright. Won't really know until the system's under pressure, but at least this will give us a quick idea if there's anything completely obvious. Let's whip that alternator back in and get everything else back together. So alternator is back in, just got to nip those up and put the tensioner on and just, you know, connect any loose bits. But as you can see, our coolant has disappeared, but we have nothing leaking underneath, so we'll be topping that back up in a minute. So I think we might be all right. So let's just get these last little bits done, start it up, and then we can bleed the system, and hopefully we've got no leaks. Right, I think I've got everything back together. Just double check everything. Lights all on, they're all on, they're all on, they're all on. That's all back on, that's all back on, that's all back on. So let's top this back up. Right, I'm going to side up and check for leaks before I get it on the floor, because that would be an absolute negative if that was the case.
Topping up the coolant again.
Ready mixed.
Now I'm just looking absolutely everywhere to see if there's any coolant leaking out from anywhere. But so far, it's looking alright.
I think we're good. I'm going to start putting the under tray back on, engine cover back on, get it back on the floor, and then we'll take it out and see if we get up to temperature. Standard, many lights on.
Right, second time lucky, let's do this. Now that thermostat was an absolute pain to do. So let's go. Right, it says we've got a TPS fault. I'm sure we probably don't. Set. Let's have a look. Check. Alright, TPS. I think my last TPS was in here. How do I get TPS off of this? That. we're going to have loads and loads of fault codes now. Because obviously unplugging the battery, as soon as you unplug the battery on one of these, everything goes mental and you get about 1 million codes. I'm going to pull over in a second because I want to get rid of this TPS tyre pressure, TPMS, which is on my screen. I don't think it's going to let me do it while I'm moving. I've been trying to press the button and it won't let me do it. So I'm going to pull over and also clear any codes, because I can see that I've got 5 codes so far that have come up, but I'm pretty sure they're all going to be for low voltage, so the battery being disconnected. And also what I also want to do is when we stop, I just want to let it burp, like see if there's any air still in the system, so driving it will get everything moving a bit better. So we can release the reservoir cap and also top it up if we need to. And that should be all good. But so far, it's staying at 90, it's bang on 90, and I will show you this. I'm just literally just waiting somewhere safe to pull over. So it's got that TPS code come up, bang on the 90, 9 fault codes on that. So let's see if holding down the button's actually going to yay! No! Yay! So that's that one gone. Wicked. So still on 90. We're just scanning. I think we've got 12 faults so far. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's see whether we need to undo the cap and see what our coolant level's at. So I always put down the window on these because I'm just worried about them locking yourselves out. So we have dropped. Fans are all going. Ooh. Right, let's get rid of those codes. Now we've only got one control unit. Let's see what that one is. Sound system. What's our faults? Control module. Aftermarket sound system. So we'll carry on going for a drive, and when we get back, we'll scan it for codes again, and hopefully we've still just got that. So I've just pulled over, and we are still at 90. Nothing's moved at all. It has literally stayed bang on 90, so doing that thermostat was well worth it. And now I could probably quite happily say the car's absolutely no issues. I think everything on it works. So it still does need a good clean, nice detail and touch up a bit of paintwork, but mechanically I'd say it's perfect. I'm going to scan some codes when we get in to see if anything's come back from earlier. So let's get back to the workshop. Well, it's home now, isn't it? Let's get back home. I've just done absolutely loads of miles, like 100 miles now, and we are still lovely jubbly on the 90. That is 100% a job done. So that was absolutely successful, well worth doing that thermostat. Absolute nightmare to do, but it's done. We have a bang on 90, it doesn't move from there, it's doing exactly what it should do. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.